Well, hello there, folks. It's John Pelham. I'm going to speak today from a sermon that Pastor Justin did this past Sunday. He's starting a new series during October on God is Still Speaking. And it's oriented toward our Pledge Sunday, which will come up the fourth Sunday of October. His sermon Sunday just really spoke to me because he talked about the voice of God. And he titled it, The Voice of God, the Source of All Things. And and Josh, by the way, sang a song, and you hear him playing it in the background now on his guitar. It's a beautiful song, The Voice of God. So I went home, and as sometimes I do, I wrote a poem, and it's called The Voice of God, and I'd like to do it for you now. How do you hear? Is it loud and clear, or do you ever hear it at all? Might it be the cry of a baby? Did you ever think maybe you'll never hear God's call? If you felt that way, just let me say you might possibly be wrong. Because you see, God's voice doesn't give us much choice. It's been with us all along. It's in the soft voice of a child, a wolf that runs wild, the thunder of a storm in the air, the music of a chancel choir, the toll of the bell high in the spire, or the quiet solitude of your favorite chair. In the sound of a quiet countryside, or the city streets busy and wide, we may not always hear it, but it's there. The calls of the morning dove and the purring of a mother's love. It's there to show us God's constant care. Have you heard God's whisper in the rain or the rustling of the grassy plain? You might hear it wherever you go, in the crackling of a campfire, in the whistling of a telephone wire. It's up to us to hear it and know. Well, I've heard the voice in a bird's chirp, and the softness of a baby's burp, the whisper of the wind at the top of a hill, in a voice spoken in a child's behalf, the first bawls of a newborn calf, and the nighttime cries of a whippoorwill. In so many ways we've heard the voice. So now, folks, we're faced with a choice. It's your time to make your play. When God calls your name, you'll never be the same, and you'll always remember that day. Whenever, however you hear it, listen quietly, but don't fear it. Undoubtedly, it's meant just for you. God knows you need it. It's up to you to heed it. Just listen. You'll know what you should do. Our Pastor Justin states, when God speaks, God creates. What's created in your life? Your choice. Just continue your seeking, for God is still speaking. You'll be richly blessed by listening to God's voice. Well, folks, we're going to be in our church this next 3 Sundays. We're going to be talking about God speaking. If you're a member of our church or listen to our church messages, Justin has urged us to write down or send in via email any instance that we would like to share with how and when we've heard God's voice. I urge you to do that. And folks, just keep on listening. It's there. Appreciate you being with me, and we'll see you next time. Thanks a bunch.
like grilling out in the front yard. Sometimes it's the simple things, like storytelling with my grandpa. He was so easy to believe, like when the sun goes up, yeah. Sometimes it's better when the sun comes down, 'cause there's just something about the moonlight, it'll make you feel alright. Oh, it's the voice of God. It can make a grown man cry. Yes, it can. Yes, it can. It's the voice of God. It can make a grown man cry.